Do you just want to scream and flip the table when you're doing your other hand? Well, in that case, you have ended up at the right video, because here today I'm gonna give you all my secret little tips and tricks on how to do nails with your non-dominant hand. So just stick around. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. My name is Celina, and if you don't know me, then well, I am an international educator and I have been doing nails for 15 years now. And it's time to do the other hand, as you can tell right here. So let's just get started. The first thing we need to discuss is our E-file, if you are working with an E-file. Not all bits will work for both left and right-handed people. So in this case, this is a right-handed bit, and that's why we need to make sure that we are using it in the correct way, even though we are using it with the opposite hand. So now I'm gonna use it with my left hand. So normally when I use this, it's gonna spin in that direction, and we're gonna move our bit from the cuticle down to the free edge. But if it spins in the opposite direction, it is basically just gonna slide off the nail. It's not gonna do anything. So for our other hand, we need to move in that direction, going from the cuticle down to the free edge, as we did with the other hand, and we want to make sure that it's spinning in this direction. So that's why we want to keep the hand in that position. If we keep it in this position, then it's gonna turn in the opposite way, so then we're gonna get that slip motion, and we don't want that. So that's why it's important that we have it in the opposite position. Now, use something to support your hand. This is very handy. This is convenient enough. My nail art brush kit, it works perfectly for this. So here I've just started to remove that color, and I'm just taking it very slowly. I'm moving in the same direction as I would with my other hand. And another thing that we are going to talk about a lot in this video is that the most important thing here is to kind of analyze what you are doing with your right hand and try to copy that with your left hand, because for some reason we just end up doing weird stuff with our left hand that we would never do with our right hand, like holding a pen or holding the E-file. Just really take a look at how you actually hold the E-file with your right hand and copy that with your left hand, because as I said, sometimes we'd end up holding it like a 3-year-old for some reason. And so the best way is just to start off as you would with your right hand and then get that into your system. Because if you start doing weird stuff, it's just gonna get stuck. So try to get rid of those weird things and get the right positioning and techniques in there right away. Another thing that we do need to talk about is, well, put your glasses on, because we are not getting younger. Well, I have been wearing glasses and contact lenses since I was like 12, so this is not news for me. However, I actually started to wear, well, in Sweden, it's actually called terminalglasögon, which is like terminal glasses. It sounds very strange in English. I don't know if you have that word, but I think you would call it like computer glasses or something like that. So it helps me focus a little bit better when I'm working with something closer to my face. That has helped me so much, and especially, you know, doing your other hand and the left hand is not doing the things that you wanted to do, then one thing that you can do to prepare yourself is to at least see what you are doing. So I do recommend putting your glasses on, or just getting some extra glasses for this special occasion, or just for doing nails. My next little handy tip is just to take it slow. I know that most of us are probably a bit stressed and we just want to get this over with, and we are really impatient because we're used to working fast with our dominant hand, so we have no patience at all. And of course, when you are rushing through something that you are not comfortable with, you are probably gonna hurt yourself. It's gonna be a bigger mess than you started out with, and so on and so on. So I would recommend you to just be patient, be kind to yourself, and see this as, you know, like you would teach a child to draw a stick figure. She or he's probably not gonna do a Mona Lisa to start with. You need to start somewhere, and you need to treat your left or right hand, well, your non-dominant hand, as your own little loved child. All right, so just be kind and let it take its time. I think the most important thing here is to, as you know, as I said before, if you start from the beginning to really try to get the right technique down and try to copy the exact same thing that your dominant hand is doing, then you are gonna save so many headaches in the future. So really take the time and analyze, try to copy your right hand, and just hold the tools as you would do with your dominant hand. I was gonna say it's as simple as that, but I understand it's not simple. But yeah, that is my best tip. But another thing that I do need to mention is that if you feel super uncomfortable working with your non-dominant hand, don't rush into the Efile and start working with that. You can work with the pushers and like the manual tools. You don't have to work with an Efile and jump straight into it. So another tip from me here is to use your pinky as a support. This is also super important, especially if you are working with an Efile. You want to have support. You can see here, if I'm not working with a support, it's gonna be very shaky, and you're just gonna feel like the Efile is going everywhere, and of course that can feel super scary. So this is another great tip from me to you. Well, just use your pinky as an extra support. That is gonna make the world of a difference. So here, I don't know if you noticed, but I switched the rotation to the other side. So what I've done here actually is that I did one side on all 5 fingers, and then I switched the rotation, and then I'm doing the other side. Usually when I do this, you know, you want to be fast and all, so I just kind of keep it on the same rotation. You should technically switch it over to the other rotation when you do the other side, but when I do my own nails, I make sure to switch the rotation because it just makes it so much easier, and you won't slip and all that boring stuff. So yeah, another little great tip from me to you. But as I said, if you are not comfortable working with an Efile straight away with your non-dominant hand, just don't do it. Use a pusher and other tools. So when you're using a file, you can do like this. Well, you can start off like this, or you can actually file like we usually do with our dominant hand. So once again, try to copy the way you use your other hand. So when we are using our dominant hand, that is the hand we are going to file with, right? But when we are using our non-dominant hand, it is, well, it's easy to get into that motion when you start to file with your nail onto the file. Well, you get what I mean. I think that is okay. If you want to start out like that, I think it's an easy way to kind of get into it, but just keep in mind that the end goal here is to start filing with your non-dominant hand. Same thing here, go back and analyze. Okay, so how am I actually holding the file with my dominant hand? And then copy that with your non-dominant hand and do the exactly same thing. Because, you know, as I said 1,000 times now, for some reason we hold our tools like a 3-year-old when we're working with our non-dominant hand. Or maybe that's just me, but I find myself, oh my god, holding the tools in the weirdest positions. Like, where did that even come from? So if you feel like it is getting wonky, you're not sure what you're doing, just go back, take the file, hold it in your dominant hand, and go back and forth with the file and just kind of feel like, okay, so how does it feel in my wrist when I do this? Do I move the entire arm or do I only move my hand? How much am I working with the hand and so on? So really go back and analyze every little thing that you're doing with your dominant hand and try to copy that. So here we are moving on to the tack. So this is kind of like a base coat, you can say. It's like the double-sided sticky tape. And one side sticks to the gel and one side sticks to the nail. You have heard this a million times if you are following me. And same thing here, just go in and do it very, very slowly. And be careful so you don't touch the cuticles. I think this is probably one of the things that happens very easily when you're working with your non-dominant hand. It just goes straight into the cuticles and stab it with whatever you were holding in your hands. So that's why you want to breathe in and breathe out. Be relaxed, take it slow, and just go for it. You know what? That is actually another great tip. The breathing thing. This is something that I tell my students when I do classes, especially when you're doing like long lines, long strokes, and if you want to get a really straight line, or if you just want to stop shaking your hand. This is a great tip. So this actually goes back to my dance career, my dancing years. When you do ballet, for example, when you do a twirl, a pirouette, what you want to do is to breathe in when you prep, and then when you start to twirl, you want to breathe out. And that kind of centers your body and makes it more stable. So what I tell my students is that before you are going to paint that super straight line with your liner brush, breathe in, and then as you paint, you breathe out at the same time. This sounds so weird, I know. It does work. Believe me, just trust me, try it out. It does work. And of course, after a while, when you've done it like 1,000 times, it's not like I want you to sit with your client and go, it's not gonna work like that. But in the beginning, when you're practicing, just breathe in and then breathe out at the same time. Once you get that into your body, you know what it's supposed to feel like when you are relaxed, when you are drawing that straight line, and then you will actually stop shaking. So same thing here. If you feel like your left hand is uncontrollable, it is shaking, it is stabbing your cuticles with whatever you are holding in your hand, just breathe in. And then once you paint, like here, breathe out at the same time. And let it take the time it has to take, if that makes sense. Don't rush through it, and really be careful with your cuticle area. So with that said, I'm just gonna leave you with my hand right here. And if I come up with anything else, I'll jump in and let you know. But yeah, enjoy my non-dominant hand. Yeah. it's me again. So actually, next thing that I want to give you a little tip about is to cure in between each nail. So if you are applying your color on one nail, just flash cure it and then go on to the next nail. That way you don't have to stress. You know that it is placed and where it's supposed to be placed and it's not gonna move. So just make sure to cure in between each nail, and that is gonna save you a lot of headaches as well. And actually, while we are talking, you can see here that I accidentally touched the cuticle area, and of course you don't want to do that, because if we're leaving it like this, you will expect some lifting right there. So what we are going to do, I'm pointing at it, oh the bastard, let's get rid of that. So here is what I use. It's a silicone tool. You can get it at most nail supply stores, I guess. We are planning to bring that into the Moonflare web shop. Actually, if you haven't checked out the web shop, then the address to that is moonflare.se. If you are an international shopper, then you want to go moonflare.se/en, and that's the English version. And we have actually switched now to dollars for the English version, so hopefully you'll be happy about that. right, moving on to the shaping part, and this is where you want to start. You want to hold it in your dominant hand, and you want to just kind of feel and analyze how you are using the file. And, you know, not like that, but you want to keep it like this and like that. So don't do the 3-year-old grip, do the nail tech grip. And just keep filing. Make sure that you are doing long and controlled as much as you can strokes with your file, instead of going in and do teeny tiny mouse, you know, strokes, because that is gonna take way longer and you are gonna get so tired in your arms. So make sure that, yeah, also here, use a new file. Don't use your old ass files. Like, seriously, it's gonna take you so much longer to file your nails if you have an old dusty file. Just throw that crap away and then use a new file. Trust me, that is gonna help you a lot. Another thing, though, that I want to mention is that when you're using a new file, especially if you are working with your non-dominant hand, it is very easy to start cutting your cuticles because the file is so new. So make sure that you are cutting the corners on your file. You know, you take another file and then you go over the edges, or yeah, corners, edges of the new file to make it smoother. And then here we are going in with a buffer, making sure that, well, here I'm actually cheating a little bit. I'm actually going back and forth with my dominant hand instead of the file, but you know, it's okay. Just keep in mind that our goal is that we want to file with our non-dominant hand. So this is the part where, if you guys have not been watching my videos before this one, you will go, oh my god, what is she doing? Why is she putting that coat of color on top of the nails again? Well, it is called the sandwich technique, and if you are intrigued by it, and if you think that it looks like fun, or if you just want to know why I'm doing this, you can basically just search Celina, my name, and sandwich technique in the search bar of YouTube, and you will definitely find lots of videos, especially one very popular video with Susie Nail Career Education, where I did and explained this. So yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail or even explain why I'm doing this. I'm just doing it, okay? So if you want to know more, then make sure to search on YouTube and you will find it. Yes. applying some shine to these babies, and here, well, it depends on what kind of shine you are using, but I'm actually doing all 5 fingers, I think. But then at the end, I go back and I kind of smooth out the surface a little bit, because this is a little bit, well, it's more like gel, but it's very runny. So when you apply it on your, as I'm doing here, like on the index finger, once you get to the pinky, it can start to gather up on the outer side of the index finger. So what I'm doing at the end is that I just take my brush, but without product in it, it's kind of dry, and then I just go over everything and spread it out where I want it to be, so you don't get, you know, the bulky sides on the outside of the nails, if you know what I mean. Cleansing and voila. There you have it. So now my hands are matching, and by the time, well, actually now when I'm doing this voiceover, my nails have grown out again. So I actually have to redo them again. Fun. Well, that's it for this video. I would love to hear what you thought about it, and if you had some kind of aha moments, please comment that in the comment section below. And yeah, don't forget to watch my other videos and follow me, of course, on my other social media. Well, peace out. Bye.